Hi, I'm Frankie. Today, I would like to provide you a short description of Malaysia's Knowledge Economy Master Plan and the practice of knowledge management. First of all, I would like to highlight some basic timelines for our reference. In the early 1990s, we saw the emergence of knowledge management practices driven largely by American and European global companies. In 1991, Malaysia launched our Vision 2020 as a master plan to transform the country into a largely, fully developed nation. Riding on these developments, in 1996, I conceptualized my first practice of knowledge management model. And of course, over the last 20 years, I have carried out significant improvement and innovation on this model. To date, corporate participants from more than 1,000 organizations representing 23 countries worldwide have successfully participated in my learning, coaching, and consulting solutions. In 1997, the first Global Knowledge Conference was organized. And then 3 years later, Global Knowledge Conference 2 was organized. And this time, it was organized in Malaysia. Exact date, March 7 to March 10 of year 2000. And this global conference was hosted by Global Knowledge Partnership in collaboration with the Malaysian government. Subsequently, in 2002, Malaysia launched our Knowledge Economy Master Plan as a strategic knowledge-based initiative to support Vision 2020. And this plan was announced during the 8th Malaysia Plan period, that is from 2001 to 2005. Now, today, standing here, we are in 2016, which means approximately 4 years to 2020. What I will do next is, I will now zoom in to provide a description on this Malaysia's K Economy Master Plan at this point of time. Now, first, alright, now perhaps you allow me to show you a copy of our Vision 2020 handbook, and this is the Vision 2020 handbook. And as I've indicated earlier on, Vision 2020 was launched, be very specific, on the 28th of February 1991. Alright, now you will see that I have a second copy here, and this is Malaysia's K Economy Master Plan. And to be very factual, Malaysia is one of the very few countries in the world that has a master plan to facilitate the migration from production-based economy to knowledge-based economy. To the best of my knowledge, many Malaysians are generally not aware of this master plan. So today, I will provide you a slightly more detailed description of this master plan and its initiative. Alright, now, so what I'll do next is, before I go in to talk about Malaysia's K Economy Master Plan, I will first of all provide a working definition of Vision 2020. And this definition is provided and extracted from the Vision 2020 handbook that I have over here. And it goes like this. Now, the Vision 2020 definition is as follows. It says, By the year 2020, Malaysia can be a united nation with a confident Malaysian society infused by strong moral and ethical values in a society that is democratic, liberal and tolerant, caring, economically just and equitable, progressive and prosperous, and in full possession of an economy that is competitive, dynamic, robust and resilient. Now this is the official definition provided by the Vision 2020 handbook. Now next, to achieve this Vision 2020, one of the major initiatives that was put in place was the launching of the Knowledge Economy Master Plan. Now, what I'll do next is, I have now extracted some of the key points from the foreword of this master plan here. Right? I will highlight 5 summary points. And it goes like this. Summary point number 1. And it says here, the frontiers of knowledge are boundless, producing wealth for both entrepreneurial and economy for knowledge creation, commercialization and innovation. Recognizing the critical need for knowledge as input, Malaysia has embarked on the transformation from an input-driven strategy that had served her well in the past to one that is increasingly driven by knowledge in order to achieve sustainable high growth and development. Now, based on the first summary point, it is very clear that the real asset to propel growth in Malaysia as a country and for companies operating in Malaysia is knowledge. Knowledge asset or knowledge capital. Summary point number 2. The intention to migrate from a production-based economy to a knowledge-based economy and the development of a master plan to chart the strategic direction towards the knowledge-based economy were first announced in Budget 2000. The second point highlights that with a master plan, it will be able to provide a more systematic, structured approach to move us ahead successfully into the knowledge-based economy. The third summary point, and it says here, the knowledge-based economy master plan marks yet another key initiative of the government to further accelerate the development of the nation into a knowledge-based economy, as well as in achieving the objective of Vision 2020. So this point clearly spells out that the master plan is one of the main initiatives that the government is taking to propel the country forward into the knowledge-driven economy. Now, summary point number 4, and it says this. The master plan provides a strategic framework outlining the changes to the fundamentals of the economy. It articulates a vision and mission, besides prescribing 7 critical areas with a total of 136 recommendations that need to be addressed in moving forward to the knowledge-based economy. Now, this suggests that as per the master plan is actually indeed divided into 7 strategic thrusts with a total of 136 key recommendations. Finally, summary point number 5. Perhaps more importantly, the master plan requires the commitment and concerted efforts of every Malaysian to realize the vision as envisaged by the master plan in spearheading Malaysia into a knowledge-based economy. So what it clearly therefore suggests here is Malaysians of all walks of life must play a role to ensure that the country and the companies operating in the country successfully move and eventually transferred ourselves operating in this knowledge-driven economy. Now, having said that, what we'll do next is we will look at what is knowledge economy about based on what is described in the master plan. And here is the introduction to the master plan. And I'll pick up some of the sections and it goes like this. It says here, what is knowledge-based economy? The answer here is, for Malaysia's purpose, it is proposed that a knowledge-based economy be defined as an economy in which knowledge, creativity, and innovation play an ever-increasing and important role in generating and sustaining growth. In the knowledge-based economy, knowledge is the most critical factor of production. It generates more wealth than the other traditional factors of production like land, labor, and capital. So, if you look at this definition that is provided, it is extremely clear that the real assets of the country, the real assets of an organization is knowledge capital. And that's reasons why having the ability to systematically manage critical knowledge is extremely important, because the ability to systematically manage critical knowledge will directly give rise to what we call as breakthrough performance. So in other words, talents in organization must develop these highly focused capabilities to manage their own critical knowledge so that they'll be able to successfully sustain superior performance. The next part of the introduction says this: Malaysia's K Economy Master Plan was launched on the 9th September 2002. The central mission of Malaysia's Strategic Initiative 1 of the 21st century is to ensure that we make the paradigm shift from the production-based economy to the knowledge-based economy. Fully endorsed by the Cabinet, the master plan will be the blueprint for the government to refer as it moves along the journey towards Vision 2020. In other words, for us to eventually fulfill the aspirations of Vision 2020, the successful implementation of this recommendation will be very crucial indeed. However, one very interesting area to note is this, and it's stated here, and it says here, human resource development or human capital development has been defined and identified as the most critical driver to enable Malaysia make the quantum leap towards becoming a knowledge-based economy. And the interesting fact is this: of the 136 recommendations in the master plan, 64 of these recommendations are directly related to human capital development. Now, so next, what I'll do is, I will now provide you an overview of the 7 strategic trusts. Then, I will highlight some of the selected ingredients, which is known as the recommendation of this master plan. Alright, these are the 7 trusts of the Knowledge Economy Master Plan as it was launched in 2002. Trust or focus number 1: to cultivate and secure the necessary human resource. What it therefore suggests is to ensure that we migrate successfully to the knowledge-based economy, human capital is highly critical. Second, focus: to establish institutions necessary to champion, mobilize, and drive the transition to a knowledge-based economy. The third focus, to ensure incentives, infrastructure, and infrastructure or information structure necessary to prosper the optimal and ever-increasing applications of knowledge in all sectors of the economy, and to enable knowledge enabling, knowledge empowering, and knowledge intensive industries to flourish. What it therefore suggests is, for us to be successful in this new economy, it is critical that companies must know how to develop, innovate, at the same time to preserve the critical knowledge, because that is the real factor for production. Next, you will have focus number 4, to dramatically increase the capacity for the acquisition and the application of science and technology, including information and communication technology in all areas, suggesting therefore leveraging on knowledge enablers like ICT, and at the same time R&D in science and technology is 100% essential. Very interesting is focus number 5, and it says very clearly, to ensure that the private sector is the vanguard of the knowledge-based economy transition. And this is very important. Why? Because it highlights that the role of the private sector to drive this transformation process is extremely critical. And finally, focus number 6, to develop the public sector into a K civil service. And of course, finally, number 7, and it says here clearly, to bridge the knowledge and digital divide. These are the 7 key focus or the 7 strategic thrust of the knowledge economy master plan. What I will do next is I will take certain illustrations or recommendation from each one of these 7 trusts for the purpose of providing us an overall feel about what this master plan is really all about. First of all, let's look at the first focus: cultivate and secure the necessary human resources. I have selected recommendation 46, and this recommendation says, formulate and adopt a national policy on lifelong learning and education within the context of Vision 2020 and the knowledge-based economy. What it really suggests is, this recommendation highlights the government's commitment at the national level relating to promoting of lifelong learning, including unlearning, relearning, and continue to learn. So what it therefore suggests is, employees in organization must systematically develop capabilities to, first of all, identify their knowledge needs, which means be clear about their knowledge gaps. Number 2, must have the mindset to pursue constant, consistent knowledge acquisition. And number 3, must have the ability to immediately apply what they learn, known as knowledge application. And of course, very important would be employees in organization must focus on conceptual, behavioral, and technical enhancement, known as knowledge development. Now, all these are ingredients, components of what we call as lifelong learning in a country, in an organization. Let me look at recommendation number 55 of Strategic Trust 1. And it says here, to promote research and development in the areas of adult education and lifelong learning by strengthening existing research and development centers of lifelong learning. What does it mean? It means to say that the government recognizes that to ensure lifelong learning is sustainable, we must have learning centers, research development centers to play a role as enabler with innovative technique to ensure that employees and people from all walks of life have opportunity to develop these lifelong learning mindsets, habits as we go along. Alright, now, so what happens next is I will then focus on the next trust or the next key focus. And it says here, establish institution to champion the transition to a knowledge-based economy. I will now zoom in on key recommendation number 1. And it says here, to establish a national knowledge-based economy development council, or in short, NKDC. So it suggests therefore that in order that we can successfully move progressively to become a knowledge-based economy, there's a need to have an organization to facilitate this transformation. And next, if you look at key focus number 3, the heading is infrastructure, and knowledge-intensive industry. Okay? Now, I zoom in on recommendation 3 and 8. And it says this, to build the infrastructure for innovation and technology diffusion. Second, build the infrastructure for knowledge creation and diffusion. Now, these two recommendations recognizes the importance of focusing on knowledge innovation and knowledge sharing in the country. Of very key interest is recommendation number 9. And it says very explicitly to build the infrastructure, the information structure for knowledge management. And here it clearly highlights the importance of adopting, embracing knowledge management practices, specifically with relation to knowledge preservation and knowledge measurement. Now, as we move on to the next key focus that relates to acquisition and application of science and technology, I will make direct reference to key recommendation number 4 under this heading. And it says here, to align national ICT policy with knowledge-based economy strategy. This clearly suggests that ICT or IT is the enabler to ensure that we can initiate and sustain the practice of knowledge management. At this point, to be very clear, the practice of knowledge management is not about technology. We do not start the POKM journey by investing in technology, because the practice of knowledge management is really about a person, a talent, developing highly focused capabilities to systematically manage his own critical knowledge, giving rise to sustainable breakthrough or outstanding performance. Now, let's now look at the most interesting of all the 7 key focus, and that is the private sector as the vanguard of knowledge-based economies development. Recommendation number 1 says very clearly to hold dialogues, seminars, and workshops to raise the level of understanding and commitment to the knowledge-based economy. This clearly and directly suggests that for organization to excel, to do well in this economy, it is very critical, exceptionally crucial, that organization must provide practice of knowledge management, familiarization to all the employees. Because an employee cannot be considered as a talent if the employee consistently need to be chased to get things done. An employee can only be considered as a talent if that person have the capability to effectively manage his critical knowledge to drive performance. Key recommendation number 6 under the same Trust 5, and key recommendation number 7 indicates this: to assess the extent of knowledge content of Malaysian-owned and foreign-owned enterprises in selected key sectors, especially in manufacturing and services. Next, to assess and prepare a program and plan for increasing knowledge content in Malaysian-owned small and medium-scale enterprises and in key knowledge-based industry. This suggests that critical knowledge is really the key assets for Malaysian-owned companies especially, because it is the ability for us to organize, to preserve, and to consistently innovate this knowledge asset that generate what we call as a higher level of competitiveness and profitability for Malaysian organization. And key recommendation number 8 says to restructure organization of firms to meet the needs of a knowledge-based economy, highlighting that organization to be competitive need to be flatter, more agile, in order that we can stay competitive. And when organizations are much flatter and more agile, they will be able to promote a higher degree of knowledge enabling culture, of knowledge sharing and knowledge innovation culture. Key focus number 6. The heading is develop the public sector into a knowledge-based civil service. Here, if you look at recommendation number 5, it says to inculcate stronger thinking skills and a culture of innovation. And that's really very interesting because government plays a very important role to provide infrastructure, to provide an environment for the private sector to flourish. Key recommendation number 6 indicates to develop a knowledge management system. And this recommendation really highlights the needs whereby government agencies need to collaborate with one another, promote real-time knowledge sharing with one another, and at the same time, in addition, to provide key focus on knowledge preservation and knowledge measurement. And key recommendation number 9 under this topic says to improve English language capabilities. And this suggests that global knowledge are sitting on this language known as English language. And therefore, having a good command, having mastery of this language will enable employees to promote active sharing. At the same time, to promote knowledge innovation effectively. Finally, focus number 7. And this focus, the heading is to bridge the knowledge and digital divide. Let's look at recommendation number 3. And it says to instill passion for knowledge and learning. And this therefore suggests that people of all walks of life, employees in all organizations, must be self-driven, highly proactive to acquire knowledge, to apply knowledge, to develop knowledge, and of course, to share and to innovate. Now these are the selected key recommendations that I would like to highlight to you based on the 7 strategic thrusts. In summary, after going through this plan here, I would like to offer you some basic analysis, and it goes like this. Malaysia's K Economy Master Plan really provides a clear direction to assist companies of all sizes to excel in this knowledge-based, innovation-driven economy. This is definitely a very visionary plan. Indeed, it is a smart plan with highly focused vision. Actually, on my side, I have actually taken a lot of ideas from this knowledge economy master plan to provide it as a basis to strengthen, to innovate my POKM model over the years. Now, EPU, Economic Planning Unit, and many other organizations have put in a lot of work, lots of effort to formulate this particular master plan. At the same time, a lot of consultation, a lot of roadshows have been carried out to collect views, feedback from many individuals before this plan was formulated. On my side, in the year 2000, in the year 2001, I have personally participated in 5 major national level knowledge economy, knowledge management conferences. And during all these 5 major national level consultation conferences, I have provided my views and my ideas. Now, next is this. Looking back, you realize therefore it has 2002 until right now, there's 2016, 14 years ago. You will see therefore that the initiative that's been put in place has really helped many organizations. But most important is this: organization must learn to seriously capitalize on this knowledge economy master plan. At this point, I would like to bring this to your attention, and that is, if you go through the master plan, you realize therefore a lot of recommendation relates to and stressing on the need to initiate and sustain the practice of knowledge management as the key to achieve competitive advantage, maintaining competitive advantage. Therefore, I strongly believe that if organization really look at the recommendation, leverage on the recommendation, the organization will benefit tremendously. So, next question, what is next? To face the challenges of this ever-changing business landscape, to face the challenges of this very hostile economic environment, organization in Malaysia of any sizes must specifically develop 3 knowledge-based strategic capabilities to seriously excel. And these 3 major knowledge-based strategic capabilities, they are all relevant to companies like, number 1, SME, family-run organization, family-owned organization. They're also relevant to, number 2, mid-size to larger organization. Number 3, relevant to holding companies with many subsidiaries operating in numerous related and unrelated industry. Number 4, relevant to global organization operating in the country and public listed companies. The question is, what are these 3 major knowledge-based strategic capabilities? I've done the analysis and it goes like this. First of all, your company must have the strategic capability to progressively transform your employees that may need to be chased to get things done, to become self-driven and proactive talents that have highly focused capabilities to manage their own critical knowledge to deliver sustainable performance. This is the first strategic capability that an organization must have, that your organization must have to excel in this knowledge-based, innovation-driven economy. The second, based on analysis, the second strategic capability is this: to adopt a highly structured approach to initiate and to sustain the practice of knowledge management, to transform the company into a knowledge-based, innovation-driven organization with key capabilities to capitalize on knowledge to, first, consistently increase operational excellence. Number 2, to enhance customer responsiveness. Number 3, to accelerate innovation intensity. And thirdly, the third major knowledge-based strategic capability that your organization must have is to be able to formulate, to be able to implement and institutionalize strategic, knowledge-based corporate policies, systems, and practices that can actually strengthen your organization's knowledge-enabling culture and performance-driven culture. And by doing so, your organization will be able to attract, to nurture, to motivate, and finally, to retain talents in your organization. These 3 major strategic capabilities driven by knowledge are essential if your organization needs to be competitive. And this analysis is based on what is provided by the think tanks that were responsible for the formulation of the K-Economy Master Plan. And we call this the way forward. At this point of time, finally, I want to leave this message for you. The K-Economy Master Plan is a great instrument, a smart plan that have laid out a clear journey for companies to excel in this economy. And the main focus, as I've highlighted earlier on, is our ability to manage critical knowledge as the strategic assets for the way forward. So, if you are the head of company, or if you are the head of human capital, or for the matter, if you're the head of a department driving critical functions in your organization, and you strongly believe in the real value of the three major knowledge-based strategic capabilities that I've highlighted earlier on, I would like to invite you, to recommend you to participate in one of my learning, coaching, and consulting solutions. What we offer, and what I offer, is solutions relating to, firstly, half-day forum workshops, or you can participate in my customized public programs, or number 3, in my customized in-house program, or my coaching sessions, and of course, for the matter, my consulting sessions or assignments. I look forward to meeting up with you in the very near future. I look forward to really share with you all the key techniques, the key strategy, and a systematic approach to seriously manage critical knowledge, to pioneer what we call as breakthrough performance or outstanding performance. So with this is Frankie signing off. Cheers and bye-bye.